We are building up to the G20 Summit, which will be held in November. And today, the focus is on civil society's participation in shaping the discussion amongst a group of 20 countries. Now, civil society, or C20, Civil Society 20, was formally established as an official G20 engagement group in the year 2013. And this was during the Russian presidency of the group. It aims to achieve positive results for society under the principle of leave no one behind. It also ensures greater balance in the dialogue with the G20. Now, joining us this afternoon to find out more about the C20 and the work that civil society has to do as far as ensuring that those who are involved in cooperative farming and early childhood care and education demonstrate that solutions already exist within those very communities. That's one of the areas that was stressed by the Civil 20 working group. Joining us this afternoon is the C20 South Africa Sherpa, Mabalane Mfundisi. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Africa in Business. Good to have you with us.
It gives us pleasure to be with you, Thami, and we're happy to engage with your listeners.
So, first of all, if you could talk to us about the purpose of the Civil Society 20 and how your engagement within the G20 is structured and who actually makes up the voice of the civil society group.
As you have already articulated in the introduction, C20 was given a lease of life to exist in the 2013 G20 processes in Russia. Mm-hmm. This afternoon, we actually joined our Russian counterparts in an engagement they had with various voices from civil society from across the African continent. And our role is to ensure that we bring in the collective voices of civil society, broad and diverse as we are, to put to the table of government leaders a set of proposals that they need to look at in their quest to make this a better world for every human being that lives in them. But we are not the only ones that wants to get the voice of the leaders of or heads of governments and heads of states. The private sector is also another entity organized through the B20 platform. So all of us are coming to the table. We also have the L20, which is the Labor 20. So if we use these four pillars, government, the private sector, labor, and communities through civil society, we all have to put our best foot forward and ensure that the proposals that we are making finds their way in the pronouncements that the heads of governments and heads of state make or arrive at when they process the issues that would have been engaged over a year-long process of negotiation. Who makes this up for us as civil society? At the moment, we have over 2,400 civil society organizations that have registered to be part of the C20. They are mainly from the G20 countries, which is 19 countries. You know, we now have the African Union and the European Union. So it is bringing all those voices under one roof and ensuring that through the working groups that we have, and this is how we organize. We organize into 14 working groups.
And perhaps,
a large number
my
of them.
Apologies, Mr. Mfundisi, before we get into the exact structure of it as well as some of the work that was tabled yesterday, we are also joined by Ashraf Garda from the National Pulse as we do the simulcast every single Thursday afternoon. And our focus today really is, as we've highlighted, the voice of civil society within the G20 as we make our way towards that big summit taking place in November. And I must say, Ashraf, what an important voice this is representing civil society.
And there's no question about it. You know, if we say it's all about the people, then the people don't have to be in parliament to be the people that has the real clout. The question is, how does it translate into something meaningful? So therefore, yeah, to amplify what you're saying, civil society, number one.
And yesterday, Mr. Mfundisi, you tabled a draft policy that was shaped by 14 civil society groups. How were those groups selected, those who became part of drafting this document, and what were perhaps some of the key priority areas or issues raised in the draft policy?
So let me start first.
Please go ahead, sir.
Let me start first with who we are, the C20. In South Africa, the C20 is led through apex bodies of civil society voices. The network, in network, we have the community constituency that brings a wide range of stakeholders in civil society, youth formations, civic formations, women's formations, you name them. We also have the SANAC Civil Society Forum, which is made up of 19 sectors of civil society. But we also have issue-based organizations that operate in civil society. So we brought them all together under the leadership of Network Community Constituency. The overall convener there, Mr. Thulani Chefuta, is the chairperson of the C20. I act as the Sherpa from the SANAC Civil Society component. But we have a leadership that's made up of 3 deputy chairpersons that deputizes Mr. Chefuta. They come from other organizations that we have. I am the Sherpa, and I have 2 sous-Sherpas that also come from there. Part of our leadership includes people that represent issues that relate to persons with disabilities. One of the deputy chairpersons come from there, Dr. Zuki Sonzo. And from the sous-Sherpas, we have a person that has been selected from organizations that represent issues that affect LGBTQI communities. So we have tried to ensure that we leave no one behind. But that is a team that drives this process in South Africa and provides a global voice for others, because it's not just a South African process, it's a global civil society process. To that end, we have an international advisory committee where the chairperson and the Sherpa participate in that, but we are joined by other leaders of civil society from previous host countries of the C20. We also have these 14 working groups that are made up of 3 representatives, a leader from an organization operating only in South Africa, another one coming from organizations that operate in the rest of Africa, and then from a global perspective as well. So we have made sure that it is Pan-African, it is global, it is still also South African in nature. We organize the 14 working groups also to mirror the issues that are the priorities of South Africa. This is to ensure that the policy proposals that we make, they find their way in terms of what the G20 would want to do. Part of the platform that has also been created for us is that through our working groups as the C20, we also participate in the working groups of the G20. Now that's where the governments come together. They are working on policy positions, policy proposals that should be taken into the global forums that are there to influence the world that we want to basically see. So ours is to ensure that through the policy briefs from each of the working groups, through the policy proposals that we make, we actually influence things to be in the manner that civil society would like to see them being implemented by government. It's not easy to ensure that all of those voices come together. But behind the scenes, we are making great strides to ensure that we consolidate and coagulate what these particular positions are from Africa, South Africa, and from the global south and global north, to ensure that the heads of state, they really indeed have something that will influence how they will do it. And that influence is not at the G20 meeting in November. It is the work that we're doing currently. In September, we'll be going to the UN General Assembly as part of the engagements with governments as well. What we want to see is that the pronouncements they make should include what we have articulated and advocated. And when we have done that, we can pat ourselves in the back that at least what President Ramaphosa says, at least what President Lula says, at least what President Trump, hopefully he will be there, is saying, reflects what we would want to see as this particular better world. So we have consolidated these 14 working groups into 6 clusters. There's a cluster that deals with issues of finance, a cluster that deals with issues relating to global governance, a cluster that deals with issues around food and poverty, a cluster that deals with issues that we have called transformative imperatives, a cluster that deals with human capital development, and lastly, the cluster that deals with just transitions and innovations. So all of those packaged and covered in what we will ultimately provide through our declaration, which will be the sum total of the policy pack that is made up of these 14 working groups that we have.
Now,
and those working groups who are taking...
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it here in terms of, the key themes of the G20: solidarity, equality, sustainability. I mean, you have a key position in terms of being the Sherpa for civil society, right? So how do you link that, your C20 draft, your civil society draft, that would then support those ideals that I've just mentioned?
Yes, and that's why we have worked out these particular clusters. So in terms of issues relating to equality, they are linked to our cluster that deals with finance and global governance. In terms of issues relating to solidarity, it's the issues that are linked to our food and poverty and the transformative imperatives. And the last one deals with human capital and just energy transition. So all those proposals that we are making are linked to those particular themes, so that the things that we agree on, we want to ululate about them. It doesn't make us captured by government. No, what is it that we want? We want governments to say and do the things that affect communities and make community lives better. And the things that we don't agree, we will step on the highest mountains and call out governments that don't actually do those, including our South African government as the host country. But our civil society stakeholders all over the world are also part and parcel of that particular journey. We would want to see this as a better world, and we need to be there. We need to be present. We need to say the things that need to be said, and we need to say the things that others would not want us to say.
Mabalane Mfundisi, South Africa Sherpa for the Civil 20. Thank you so much for your time and a really comprehensive look at what the C20 is about. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on our G20 feature.